Heyo, how's it going, everybody? Hope anyone out there who's watching this right now or at some point in the future is having themselves a fantastic day today. Welcome, welcome. My name is Relikai. I'm going to be playing myself a video game on the old internet, and tonight the video game is going to be FGO. My audio is not going. I don't know what is going on with... Is it my mouse? It might be my mouse. This thing is kind of cheap, but I mean, it's mostly fine, so, but anywho, yeah, like I said, we're gonna be playing some FGO. Last week we had some pretty we had a lot of craziness going on with FGO last week, between what happened in the story, the story is coming to a head in the Avalon Lost Belt, and then also we had our crazy, insane gotcha luck with, after doing like, I don't even remember, like 70, 80 pulls or something like that, and missing out on Ash the entire time, we finally managed to pull her with one singular ticket, and it was the ticket that we got from doing her demo. You couldn't make it up. I actually posted it to Twitter. That was how crazy that moment was. Completely unedited in its full glory, so that you could, I didn't make this shit up. So, yeah. How's it going, Patat? Hope you're doing okay tonight. Appreciate you stopping in. Hope all is well for you this weekend. Not a whole lot else to really talk about. I will just, again, reiterate, I'm going to be taking next week off, again, to kind of focus on my little side projects that I'm up to. And then one other thing I want to talk about is that I did go and see Superman last night, and it was pretty great. I definitely enjoyed myself. I did not love it as much as I was hoping I would. I still liked it. I still think it was good. It just didn't reach like the highs that I was hoping for. That being said, I think it's one of those things where I like it at first, and then upon subsequent repeated viewings, like if I watch it one or two more times, I think I could come to really love it, because off jump, things are, there are things about it that are definitely wonky, and it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I feel like you kind of had to like take a lot in at first, and then so if you go and see it like a second or a third time, being braced for what to expect and being able to ruminate on all the different elements that were in the movie, and then going back in with that sort of retrospective, it lends itself a lot better to being watched like a second or a third time. And that's kind of like the vibe that I've gotten. I've seen some people have watched it twice already, and if they weren't as keen on it at first, they, on their second viewing, they came back and they were like, okay, I get a little bit more of what they were trying to do with this, or certain aspects that they didn't appreciate initially. Once they saw it again, they were like, you know what, that was actually, I'm actually okay with that. You know what, it's fine. So yeah, I definitely want to see it again. I'm planning on seeing it again sometime this next upcoming week. Again, when I've got some time to myself, one of the days when I'm not streaming or going to the gym, I can go and check it out, because I saw it in IMAX, and that was awesome. Apparently, from what I have gathered, the whole movie was filmed for IMAX. So unlike, say, I remember back in the day, portions of The Dark Knight were filmed for IMAX, and it was like the big action set pieces, like the car chase through the city, or stuff like that. Whenever it was like a big showcase action set piece, they filmed it in IMAX. But all the more intimate the dialogue scenes and stuff like that was all filmed with normal cameras. Apparently, from what I hear, every scene in Superman was shot for IMAX, and IMAX is definitely an experience. It's one of those things where you go in and you're like, the screen is huge, and the sound isn't very high fidelity. It's just like, you can hear everything. It is high fidelity, but it's also just really freaking loud. And so just like, it's not like Dolby Atmos, where the fidelity of the sound is much more the showcase, and like showing that like the sound can be all around you and then also above you and things like that. IMAX is just kind of like, it's high fidelity sound, but it's just like a sound wall where it's just like, like those old I forget what brand it specifically was for, but it's the scene of like the guy sitting in front of the speakers. I think it was like a Bose ad or something like that, or could have been Panasonic, I can't remember. But the guy sits in front of the speaker system in the chair with his sunglasses on, and is just sitting there, and then the sound is just like blaring at him, and his like hair is getting whipped back, and his tie is getting whipped back, and he's just like sitting in the seat. It's a iconic like little bit of advertising. But yeah, it's kind of like that. You're sitting in there and just everything's really fucking loud. So I would like to see it again in still a special format theater, where it's a bigger than average screen, but again, it has like the Dolby Atmos sound system set up in there, so it would be much more like immersive high fidelity audio than just like really loud high fidelity audio. But yeah, like really quickly, I'll talk about like the things that I like, my overall thoughts on it. Some things I like, some things I didn't, just like really quickly, because I've been talking up this movie for a really long time. I really like David Corenswet as Superman. I think he is a fantastic Superman. He incorporates bits of like that good old-fashioned Chris Reeve sort of charm and more subdued masculinity, but he's also a lot more approachable, a lot more human. He doesn't feel like he doesn't have the same dad energy as Chris Reeve. He's much more of like like a guy you could be friends with, a buddy. Ironically, Chris Reeve said, when Lois asked him, "Who are you?" he said, "A friend." I feel like David Corenswet is much more a friend, whereas Chris Reeve was much more a dad. But that's not a bad thing. Obviously, everybody loves Chris Reeve, and it's for a reason. He was fantastic. But I do think that David Corenswet having a little bit of that mixed with a bit more of a vulnerability and a much more makes him feel a lot more approachable. So, and I think that I think he really nailed it. I would be very excited to see him as Superman again. So, if it's one of those ending credit cameo scenes, like at the end of some other DC movie, and he shows up, I'm just like, yeah, Superman, let's go. So yeah, it was I really liked him. Nick as Lex, yes. Nick Holt as Lex Luthor, definitely. He was definitely really good. I felt like, and I don't know if this is like, because here's my thing. My ideal Lex Luthor has always been like the animated series Lex Luthor, you know, the Clancy Brown, very put together, very, you know, standing upright, cold, calculating, like you've fallen into my trap, Superman, kind of Lex, you know. I get though that sort of Lex, like maybe like a Chris Reeve sort of era Superman, is maybe a little out of date, a little, not completely, but a little. And so, you know, because of the fact that we have now been so more exposed to actual real life Lex Luthors, I think it is kind of important that we kind of update the notion of Lex Luthor to essentially kind of mirror the actual real life people who are basically mirroring him. So, you know, he's got like this sort of like Elon Musk, you know, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg kind of like, you know, heir to him, which is exactly why I wore my "Billionaires Are Not Your Friends" shirt today, because yeah, they're not. None of these guys are. Bill Gates is like, he's okay. Like maybe he could come to the cookout, but I mean, I am not the arbiter of who is and who isn't allowed to the cookout, but I feel like he would be allowed. Everyone else, no, keep them out. But yeah, like if you took Bill Gates out and replaced him with Lex Luthor, it would literally be the same thing. Or you could just look at Jeff Bezos down there and be like, yeah, there he is. Lex Luthor's in the family portrait too. So I think that might just be like a me problem. That might just be me having to let go of like my personal like ideal Lex Luthor from like the animated series and be like, okay, no, this is what an actual, like, this is Lex Luthor in real life, because we have Lex Luthor in real life. We have Lex Luthor at home, essentially. So yeah, so I think like, again, on a subsequent viewing, being able to appreciate him more in that sense, I would like his performance a lot more than I did. He was still good. He was still very good. I was, again, it's just sort of like a lot of these complaints that I have right now are kind of like things that the movie did that are kind of abrasively rubbing up against like my sort of like long-standing ideals of what, like, you know, Superman is or has been. Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane honestly absolutely kills it. I think she could be my favorite Lois Lane ever. I really like My Adventures with Superman Lois Lane. No, My Adventures with Superman is still number one. Still number one for me, but I would say Rachel Brosnahan definitely number two. She's really good, way better than Amy Adams. I liked Kate Bosworth as Lois Lane in Superman Returns. I also just liked Superman Returns, which is a controversial statement in and of itself. But yeah, she was definitely better than both of them. And I would say better than Margot Kidder as well. Margaret? I'm pretty sure it's Margot Kidder. If for no other reason than she can apparently spell. So, yeah. And then, yeah, the Justice Gang. I feel like Guy Gardner and Mr. Terrific. Mr. Terrific obviously had like the most screen time out of all of them, so I think like he was good. I feel like Guy Gardner, like Nathan Fillion had like enough material and also presented him with enough personality to hint at you know, his character's potential. I want to see more of him, and I think that worked well for him. He was less douchey than I was honestly expecting him to be, but I guess like you still have to like him because he's still a hero. So they can't push him too far, I guess. But I honestly just thought he would be more abrasive than he actually was. As he was just kind of like he was just kind of like a sort of annoying dude who seemed like if he got pushed, he wouldn't have an issue like coming to blows with you, even if like he's supposed to be your friend. So I guess that's like the right amount of douchiness to have for him, so that you still end up liking him at the end of the day. Hawk Girl, I'm gonna say, was very underutilized. Like, with the number of characters that they're having to introduce and the story had to juggle, like inevitably some of them have to end up getting falling by the wayside, and I feel like Hawk Girl was one of them. I thought it was a bit odd that apparently she just doesn't have wings in one scene. I'm personally used to her just always having her wings, and so I don't know if like they can pop in or out, or like if her wings are just kind of like artificial. So I don't know. Again, she was one of the most underutilized characters in the movie, so can't really say too much about her. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see what ends up being her deal later on. I did think it was cool that like when she would like scream, it would sound like a hawk screech. Because I always remember her in like the Justice League show. You know, she was always yelling, because whenever she would go in with her mace, she would be like, ha, ha, ha. And so I guess that's just like part of her character. So when she's doing that, I do think it's kind of cool that they make it sound like a hawk screeching. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, the action is really good. I was honestly like, I think the action was fantastic. I especially love like the kaiju fight. The whole kaiju scene to me is like one of my personal highlights from the movie, because it just really felt very much like, okay, for like Superman citywide level threats, like something like this, it feels very true to sort of like how this would potentially end up going, because it's like, you know, Superman, he's punching it, he's trying to get it to stop, and then like when he punches it, it ends up almost like falling over onto a building, so he's got to fly behind it and like hold it up so that it doesn't come crashing down into a building where a bunch of people are. And then, you know, once he pushes it away, then he like goes back and checks with everybody. He's like, is everyone all right? Everyone cool? Okay. And then you really feel the weight of it too. I like the fact that when Superman lifts heavy objects, you can feel it. It feels like he's lifting up something heavy. So like when he's lifting up the kaiju, like at the end of the fight, when it's like knocked out, or it's actually dead, but like it falls down, and he like holds it up to prevent too much collateral damage from happening, and then he kind of like, you know, flies it over so that he can set it down somewhere, you know, there won't be as much damage. You can like, you feel like how heavy this thing is like certain parts of its body are getting like dragged around while Superman's like flying it over there. And yeah, I just really like that, like everything had weight to it. And it's that scene in and of itself is just like a great showcase of like how Superman cares about, you know, protecting life, even the life of, you know, this kaiju, where, you know, the Justice Gang comes in, they're like beating up on it, and he's like, guys, come on, like take it easy, man. And then he's flying around all over the place, he's saving, you know, all these people. All the scenes of him saving people, about like 80 to 90% of it is all in this scene. He even saves a fucking squirrel. my boy, there's a squirrel running away from all the damage that's happening. My boy flies in and saves the squirrel. Good. That's a good man. Thank you, Superman, for caring about the squirrel. Huh. And yeah, so there's a lot of things about the movie that I like. Some things I felt were a little bit on the weaker side. I felt, while I didn't feel like the pacing was bad, I do feel like maybe having like an extra like 10 minutes of screen time could have done this movie a lot of favors to just feel like there was a little bit more breathing room. I feel like this film, for everything that it needs to do, is very lean and very tight in terms of just like how much it's cramming into the amount of runtime that it has. Again, personally, I feel an extra 10 or even maybe 5 minutes of screen time to just let certain scenes, just like a few key scenes in the movie, just have a little extra breathing room, maybe would have done it a lot of favors. Or just have like an extra 5 or 10 minutes dedicated to the beginning of the movie. Because like the most common complaint I've seen so far from people that either really hate the movie or like the movie is that the whole, they could have used with like a bit more of like an easing in at the beginning. Because, you know, we get like these like paragraphs explaining like the context of this world and how metahumans have been around for like centuries at this point, and you know, all that sort of stuff. I feel like you could have done, and like the text at the beginning is fine, it's serviceable. What I felt maybe would have been cooler is if they did like a Fellowship of the Ring style, you know, prologue, because the Lord of the Rings Fellowship prologue is honestly like amazing, because you like, it is just a big huge exposition dump, which usually people don't like, but it's done so well that it's honestly one of the best parts of the movie. And, you know, someone like me who didn't have any knowledge about Lord of the Rings back when the first movie came out, that prologue gave me everything I needed. I understood everything that was happening. I understood the context. I understood who Sauron is. I understood mostly about what, like, the rings, all of the rings that were given to the different races. And then, like, you know, just why the ring is bad and, like, all that sort of stuff. Gave me a feel for the world and whatnot. So I feel like having something like that could have helped out a whole lot for, you know, those people who felt like they needed a little bit of orientating at the beginning to just kind of like let them know where we all stand right now. And yeah, feel like there's not enough Clark Kent scenes. Yeah. I mean, I feel there are like two big Clark Kent scenes, like, because I think what James Gunn and David Corenswet have said is that there's usually like two characters. There's like Clark Kent as he presents himself to people who don't know he's Superman. There's Superman, who he presents to people who don't know that he's Clark Kent. And then there's this like third mixture of Superman and Clark Kent where this person knows that he's both of those people. And so I feel like we get more of that. We get more of that Clark Kent because he's around, you know, most of the Clark Kent scenes are with either Lois or his parents, who do both know that he's Superman. So I feel like we got like very key scenes where we see Clark Kent. We just didn't, I guess, yeah, technically get a large quantity of Clark Kent. And I feel like so the whole dichotomy of like there being this delineation between Clark Kent and Superman, I feel like that's a little bit old-fashioned, and I feel like the more modern preference is for Clark Kent is Superman. And then like, so I feel like a more unifying of the two identities for me personally is more preferable. I just like that idea a lot better, that like Clark Kent because you know a lot of people point to like the speech in Kill Bill Volume 2 where you know Bill is literally like, again, the villain is talking about how, you know, Superman is the real person and Clark Kent is the costume that Superman puts on. That's a load of horse shit. And I think most people who aren't idiots understand that, or, you know, or aren't Superman fans as well. Whereas, like, I honestly think that, like, again, something like My Adventures of Superman is kind of like the perfect combination of the two, where, like, you know, Clark Kent is like, he was Clark Kent before he was ever Superman. He grew up for like over 3 decades in Smallville, and you know, he had friends, he had interests, he had hobbies, he had relationships, he had his heart broken, and you know, he had jobs, and you know, he was just a guy. He was Clark Kent for all that time. And so then he eventually decides to become Superman. So no, like Superman is the costume that Clark Kent puts on. And so obviously, like, if you're gonna still have a secret identity, you should still kind of have it be where, like, you know, in the movie they kind of like explain it away by saying like he has hypno glasses. That's how he's able to make it so that, like, he can just put on glasses and essentially act the exact same way as Superman, and nobody knows that it's him because he just makes his face, he just hypnotizes you with his glasses into making his face look different to you. I don't know if that was serious, but I'm pretty sure that it is, because it felt like all the other characters were affirming the hypno glasses stuff, which was something that Guy Gardner was saying. But I mean, yeah, everyone else in the scene was affirming what he was saying. So I think that is actually what he has. He's got hypno glasses. So I mean, like, yeah, I guess that would give him an out for how he can just act like, you know, Superman and nobody really noticed, because they're like, well, he doesn't even look anything like Superman. So what are we even talking about? But yeah, like, I do think, like, I think there was enough key moments of having, you know, Clark Kent being in there. I think majority of what we did need was probably what they ended up doing, which was having more Superman scenes, because ultimately what I, as like a longtime Superman fan and a real Superman fan, not just a movie fan, but a real Superman fan, what I wanted from this movie was for it to make people stop saying Superman is boring, Superman is lame, who gives a shit? And from the audience response that I've seen so far from this movie, I think it succeeded. So to me, that's the biggest thing. If this movie has now gotten like a whole new generation of people, and then even older generations of people who already knew who Superman was but thought he was boring, to now look at him and say, hey, Superman's kind of cool, then I say mission accomplished. We did it, boys. Because that's what I want. I just want people to understand, like, no, Superman is cool, man. Come on. Like, he's been done dirty because of the fact that for again, like, the Gen Z generation, like, their idea of Superman is that, oh, he's broody, he's moody, he doesn't ever smile, he's intense, he's he doesn't, like, he is saving human beings in the world, it's such a burden to him, and he's so misunderstood, and he's a god among men, and he snaps people's necks, and Martha, it's like, no, you fools, you've been brainwashed. That's not Superman. That was the interpretation of Superman by a director who doesn't even like Superman. So now I guess the Gen Alpha generation, they get to now grow up with an interpretation of Superman by somebody who actually does like Superman. And apparently, it's succeeding. Everybody right now seems to like Superman at the moment. And so I'm just like, that's all I needed. That's all I needed, man. Thank you. Thanks, Jimmy. I appreciate it. So, yeah, those are right now my thoughts about the new Superman movie. Overall, I still really liked it. I liked it enough that I want to go see it again. So, and I'm really happy with like the audience reaction to it, because I mean, I think as of right now, what is the audience score for the movie? It's actually come down a little bit. So it's at a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. So, like, you know, almost 100% of people, you know, just regular ass people who go to see this movie are coming away from it saying they like Superman. So that's the biggest thing for me. I'm just happy that it's getting people to even say that like, hey, yeah, I like that Superman movie. So I am a happy camper because of that. The guy that likes Superman made a good Superman movie? Unheard of. I know, right? Imagine. It's crazy what can happen when somebody who actually likes a certain subject matter makes a movie out of that subject matter. And it's crazy to think that somebody that doesn't like that subject matter might make a crappy version of that subject matter. Call the guy that made Suicide Squad. That guy knows his stuff. Exactly. But how's it going, Lee? Hope you're doing all right. Appreciate you stopping in tonight as well. Yeah, I just had to go off on my thoughts about Superman, because I've been talking about this movie for a long time, and I just needed to get off my chest about how I felt about the movie. And yeah, so I mean, on it. Hold on, I've actually got a little something here before we start. So if anyone out there happens to right now be like a newly converted Superman fan, I've got, if you want to start being like a turbo nerd about it, I got some comic recommendations that, like, if you actually wanted to, these are some good places to start. One is obviously All-Star Superman. This is the comic that largely James Gunn was inspired by for the new Superman movie. This is also usually considered to be the best Superman comic ever. It's a little heady, a little sort of like philosophical in the ways in which it like touches on Superman. So I don't necessarily know if I would say go with this one as like your very first Superman comic, but again, like if you want like the best one, it's this one. On the other hand, a comic that I think would really probably be a better jumping in point for a lot of people, because it feels a little bit more like what you would expect a comic to be like, is this one, Superman Up in the Sky, one of my personal favorite Superman comics. Yeah, it just like, especially like the art looks so freaking good. And also the guy who wrote this comic, I just found out, actually wrote the comic that the new Supergirl is going to be based off of, which I didn't initially have any interest in reading the comic that the Supergirl movie is going to be based off of, but now finding out that the guy who wrote this wrote it, now I kind of feel like I've got to. But yeah, this one is really good. And then something that's like a little bit more modern and a little bit more maybe for the anime pilled generation is Superman Smashes the Klan. which still definitely the best comic book title I've ever heard. But yeah, it's it is what it says on the tin. It's just Superman fighting the Ku Klux Klan. And how could you not like that? Granted, they for some reason, like, they take like the same sort of like terminology from the Klan, but they change it up a little bit. Like, the head of the Klan is called the Grand Scorpion instead of the Grand Dragon. So I didn't know that the Klan might actually have copyrights on their dumb, stupid D&D LARPer titles that they give to themselves. But yeah, but I mean, they're still the Ku Klux Klan. Like, come on. Making stuff based on comics that are actually liked always works out. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and it's funny because this is actually related to way back when, during the, I think it was the 30s or 40s, the Superman radio show actually ran a like a series of episodes about Superman fighting the Ku Klux Klan. And it was actually, the reason is because this investigative reporter actually infiltrated the Klan's ranks and like found out all about their like how they operate and what it is that they do, where they meet, their whole terminology, their dog whistles and their codes that they use in order to sort of like send messages to each other out in, you know, polite society. And this reporter was actually going to go and give this information to a major news outlet, and the news outlet actually refused to run it because the Klan threatened them. And so the reporter actually instead went to the people who ran the Superman radio show, gave them the information. They then took it and turned it into a story where Superman fights the Klan, and it actually ended up basically stopping the Ku Klux Klan's basically rising resurgence of power in the United States back in those days. So yeah, that's pretty fucking sick. So yeah, if you want that whole story just put into, like, you know, comic book form, definitely check that out. Looks at Marvel Ironheart. Yeah, I mean, like, it's unfortunate. The thing about Ironheart is that, like, unfortunately, a lot of you know, I think Riri Williams is just kind of like a doomed character from the get-go. It is kind of unfortunate. And oh yeah, it's interesting because if you do pick up the Superman versus the Klan thing, like, it actually has like this whole thing in the back, kind of like documenting the story of how, you know, that investigative reporter got the information on the way the Ku Klux Klan operated back in the day, and then brought it to the Superman radio show people. And yeah, that's how Superman defeated the Ku Klux Klan. It's pretty sick. But yeah, those are like 3 comic recommendations I have for if you are a newly converted Superman fan. Definitely go ahead and, like, you know, check all those out. And I would also recommend maybe Superman for All Seasons as well. That's another good one, and another one that James Gunn pulled inspiration from for the new movie. All right, well, we've been yapping for like 40 minutes, so let me go ahead and finally get to the game. All right. They didn't even try to adapt the comic people didn't like. The girl in the comics was Rhodes' niece. She isn't in the series. Oh, really? Yeah, that's the thing. I think the thing is that, like, Iron Man already had like candidates for who could have potentially replaced Tony Stark. You know, they had Brody, they had even Pepper. Could have even gone with like Pepper's or Tony's daughter. Instead, it's just like this completely unrelated character to Tony. So yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things, but unfortunately a lot of people are gonna latch on to the fact that, oh, it's about a black girl and it's just MCU and all that sort of dumb stuff, where it's like, no, like you're all disliking Ironheart just for like the wrong reasons. It's like, shut up. Anywho, I need to stop. We need to go ahead and actually get the game going here. So let me go ahead and kill the BGM right here, and then get the FGO audio going. All right, here we are. Let's see here. So let's go ahead and just jump in with Avalon. Being Rhodes' niece is better, but it's still not that good. Yeah, because again, like, why wasn't it just Brody? Why didn't War Machine just take over for Iron Man? You know? I don't know. All right, let me go ahead, pop one of my cough drops. All right, now, so last time around, a whole lot of shit happened, actually. You know, our girl Gareth unfortunately ended up, you know, she went out like a champ. She did everything that she had to do and more. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough, but you know, now we're coming in to take some names. We're coming in to get our get back, you know. How's it going, Kotsky? Hope you're doing all right tonight. Appreciate you stopping in. You just missed my big, huge, long Superman breakdown and all of my comic recommendations. You missed them all. But yeah, we are about to get FGO started up here. So summer starts on the 18th. It's based on Lost Belt 6, so spoilers may be incoming. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, I will be off next week, so I think I'll probably, well, I mean, I'm not gonna be playing off stream, so we'll get to that bridge when we cross it, you know. How's it going, Kiata? I have to tell you something. Honka Star Impactor has Saber. I love that. Honka Star Impactor. Oh, that's great. I love it. And yeah, I know Star Rail has both Saber and Archer. But I do not play that game, so unfortunately I'm gonna have to miss out on them. I don't understand why Star Rail gets to have the cool crossover with like Saber and Archer when you could have put them in Genshin, but no, instead Genshin gets Aloy. Doesn't even fucking fit. What are you talking about? Like, Archer and Saber would have definitely worked way better in Genshin than Aloy did, so I don't get it. Guess what? Her name is Altria? Well, yeah, her name has always been Altria. Here's the thing. I know that weebs will continue to call her Artoria. I'm sorry to break it to you guys. Her name is Altria. Like, when they say Artoria, it's just because the Japanese can't pronounce L's, okay? So when you call her Artoria, you're kind of just making fun of the way Japanese people can't pronounce L's, and I think that's really mean. You should stop. Granted, like, yes, it sounds better because, you know, Arturia, I get it, but that's just not what happened. And if you want to be mad about it, like, be mad at Tight Moon, not me. How's it going, Maiden? Hope you're doing well tonight as well. No one wants a crossover with Genshin Impact. Saber's too good for that. Kari Walgren would have wooden dialogue. Kari Walgren would do just fine. Kari Walgren is always great in everything that she's in. What are you even talking about? What are you talking about, my guy? What do you even mean? Okay, Eve of the Decisive Battle Part 2, I guess. Okay, let's get to it. Alright, nearly 50 minutes in, we're finally actually getting to the game. Boy, howdy. Nasu was the one that said Arturia in English was Altria many years ago. Aha! And never backed down from his take. Well, there you go. I have a report to make, Queen Morgan. Tomlin Bargus and Tomlin Lancelot have finished arranging their formations on Camelot's ramparts. Lady Aurora of the Wind Clan has assembled an army and departed from Salisbury. They should arrive at Camelot's west gate tomorrow. Lord Spriggan of the Earth Clan is already here, along with his private company of soldiers. Lady Mirian of the Wind Clan has sided with the Child of Prophecy and refused your summons. Of our 105 loyal knights stationed around Britain, 80 have returned to Camelot, while 25 remain in their respective territories after refusing their summons. Not even all the knights are here. I can't believe there are defectors in the Queen's own army. Doesn't this mean Camelot's forces are outnumbered now? Not to mention all the bells of pilgrimage have been rung. They say the Child of Prophecy's magical energy is now equal of Her Majesty's. And the foreign mage is said to command ghosts whose power rivals even our knights. They do. My ghosts do rival your knights, so beware. Beware, beware, beware. Interacting with the characters. Well, the thing is that Aloy doesn't even interact with any of the characters. There was no story set up for why she was in Genshin. She just was put in there because essentially they were forced to put her in there because Genshin was like the hot new shit at the time, and Sony really wanted like Horizon Zero Dawn to like really be popping off, so they kind of forced a collab with MiHoYo back then. But yeah, it's I don't even think, does Aloy even have voice lines? I don't think she actually does. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, the Horizon Zero Dawn collaboration with Genshin was honestly one of the worst handled collaborations I've ever seen. The characters, they were just put into the game. There was no event surrounding her being in the game from as far as I could remember, and nobody likes using her. And yeah, it's a really weird thing. Why do you want to nerd out over Superman again? Because I like Superman. That is my reason. To quote R.L. Stein, beware for a scare. R.L. Stein. Man. I read Goosebumps as a kid. What do you think we should do? Maybe it's not too late to change sides ourselves. No, it's okay. We have nothing to fear as long as we have the Tomlin. She may have been defeated, but Bargus is still as strong as ever. They'll never get through the main gate with her around. Aurora says she will be late, does she? Precisely the sort of trickery I expect from her. Tell Bargus she needn't bother opening the west gate. But your majesty, that would mean... Do not make me repeat myself. Your majesty, what would you have us do with the knights who refused your summons? If you'd like to have them branded traitors, we'd be happy to go confiscate their territories. That will not be necessary. I have already disposed of those who refused my summons personally. The very act of weighing me against the child of prophecy is itself blasphemy and punishable by death. Wow, she's gone full Lex Luthor on it. They chose her, let them die. Oh, look at that. No, you see Morgan, Aurora did show up. Open the west gate, come on. How's it going, Aurora? Don't worry. Morgan was just kidding. She's gonna open the gate for you, don't worry. She killed knights all across the land in a single night? How? They may not compare to the Tomlin, but a single one of the Queen's knights is still the equal of 1,000 ordinary soldiers, and she killed 25 of them all by herself. Silence, you dithering idiots. I did not summon my knights here because I require their aid. I merely offered them a chance to demonstrate their loyalty. Camelot will never fall, no matter what the rebel army may attempt. In my estimation, they are no greater a threat than the 8th calamity. I can handle them alone, easily. And the child of prophecy is a fool for thinking she can match me merely by ringing the bells of prophecy. How many times does she think I have completed the very same pilgrimage? One such journey does not give her power enough to match even my little finger. What was that? Did Her Majesty just admit to undergoing the pilgrimage herself? Does that mean the rumors are true? Is High Queen Morgan actually a fairy of paradise? Your Majesty, please forgive my interruption. We have just received a call from Lady Knock-Nah-Reeb of the King Clan's mirror. Shall I answer it? Yes. Bring me the mirror. At once, Your Majesty. Spatial mirror, to me! Oh-ho! There's our girl. Oh my goodness, is my girl Zelda? Oh my, it's not Zelda, never mind. Scandalous. Yes. His eyes are too close together. Look at his crooked smile, his chin is very weak. Obviously a philanderer who trifles with unsuspecting women's hearts. Good day, Queen Morgan. It is I, Knock-Nah-Reeb, descendant of the Northern Fairies. First, I must offer an apology in regards to your recent request. I'm afraid I was unable to dispose of the Child of Prophecy as you instructed me. Following a fair and honorable duel, the Child of Prophecy and I have become close friends. I do hope you can forgive me for failing to do as you commanded. Not that I expect a frigid bitch like you ever thought I would to begin with, since you don't trust anyone. Damn. Why that little? How dare that northern barbarian speak to Her Majesty that way? Oh, but I do bring you some glad tidings, Queen Morgan. Allow me to offer my congratulations. At long last, you're going to be freed from the burden of ruling over Britain. For too long, you've been sucking us dry with your command spells and been woefully inadequate with your responses to the great calamities. So long as you remain on the throne, Britain has no future. Oh, she actually be looking mad for once. And above all, I'm the rightful heir to the throne as granted to me by my predecessor, Queen Maeve. And it's time for you to retire, Morgan. We can't trust you with Britain any longer. As Knock-Nah-Reeb, the rightful Queen of Britain, I offer Camelot's current administration an opportunity to surrender. If you refuse to peacefully hand over your castle by tomorrow morning, I'll come take it by force. Your treaty with my predecessor, the past queen, is now null and void. Prepare yourself, Morgan Le Fay. This is a declaration of war from the child of the queen and the child of prophecy. Damn. Whoa, 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 whoa. Lois, this is not my Batman glass. All right. Hold on a second. Is the fucking Text thing, dialogue box speed, text speed. Let me just... Okay, let's try that, maybe. Did you have to make a Family Guy reference in 2025? Dude, Family Guy is like making a comeback. What are you talking about? All the youths are into it nowadays. At least I referenced good Family Guy. You know, like to this day still, like first like 3 seasons of Family Guy are still pretty good. I hear from folks who are super coping that Family Guy is still good. I don't believe them, but I mean, you know, to each their own. I will say though, Family Guy, like even today, Family Guy is a very good piss the day away show. Like if you want a show that is not going to ask anything of you, you don't have to be intellectually invested in it. You do not have to be emotionally invested in it. You just need something to be on while you just sit there and exist in front of it. Family Guy is the perfect show for that because it doesn't. It does not ask you to be intellectually or emotionally engaged. It just asks that you have a pulse and exist in front of it. That's all. So in that regard, I will say that like if you're like depressed, if you're just like fucking depressed and you just don't want to like move off of the couch like all day long, Family Guy's a good go-to, I would say. It's making a comeback. Explain. Kids are just into it again. Yeah, that's all it is. Like the younger folks, the youths, they are into it. Damn it, BlueStacks! Ah. Family Guy is popular where it's animated movie. Well, Family Guy didn't get a movie. Like technically speaking, there is like the the like Stewie the Untold Story or something like that. That was just 3 episodes put together. It's not a movie. 1.5 days after the attack on Londinium, the evening of the 44th day in Britain. Oh, hello. There, that's the declaration of war taken care of. We've established that we are in the right. Aren't you supposed to declare war before giving the enemy a chance to surrender? Right? I thought first you declared war, then offered your enemy a chance to surrender after you weakened them. Oh, come on. You know Morgan would never surrender. I was just getting the formalities out of the way.
So, the fighting begins tomorrow morning. Assuming that we'd need to organize new formations for our armies anyway. How should we go about our siege? It doesn't look as though the Queen's army will try to attack us out here in the open.
Nope. The fact that there aren't any troops out on the plains already means they're definitely just focusing on shoring up their defenses. Good thing for us too, since that let the Round Table Army to get here from Oxford today. Saying like a feature film movie, just like the Bob's Burgers got a theatrical movie in theaters. Oh, well no, then Family Guy never had one of those. And I don't know if there are any plans to ever do that. If there were, I don't... You know, I would probably see it just because, like, Family Guy's been around for so long. And, like, so the idea that they would now finally have a theatrical movie is, like, would be pretty crazy. So I would go just to, like, find out, like, what is it? After all this time, what could they have come up with where it would be like, yeah, this is worth putting money behind and then putting into theaters.
So it's finally time to bring down the big castle, huh? Which gate do we take? Main, west, or east?
Oh no, Grimer's here again. Ah, shit. I gotta do my Irish accent again? Oh boy. Forgot Kofe, owned by Disney? I do not know who Kofe is, but I mean, each division is operated independently of Disney, so I mean, it would ultimately be up to the Fox executives. Alright, so I gotta find my Irish accent down in there. Where is it? I guess that's it. Just the main gate. That's what Knocknaria put together her giant court for. After we smash the main gate, the Northern Ferry Army and the Round Table Army will occupy the castle town. Personally, I'd rather wait to do that till after we've seized control of the castle itself, but I already told you, no way. I want to keep my new castle in pristine condition. Especially the throne. Even if we succeed at defeating Morgan, it won't mean anything if we destroy the throne in the process. Oh man, she's legitimately angry about this too. She's like, no, absolutely not. The big chair remains undamaged. The big chair's not going to remain undamaged. You just watch. Is there something special about that throne? No, not really. I just plan to get a lot of use out of it once it's mine. Don't you think you're getting ahead of yourself? We haven't even started fighting yet, let alone won. I'd worry about yourself rather than me. Never mind the castle town. You did get a theatrical release in theaters. You know how many people will watch the Die Hard fans cosplaying and dressing? I mean, mayhaps. There probably would be like a couple people maybe dressed up. I mean, there was one guy dressed up as Superman when I went to my screening yesterday, so that was fun. But no, it would definitely do well. I think so. It would definitely still do well. Like I said, the kids are into it again, so yeah, you know. You guys are going to have the hardest time of all once you're inside the castle itself. Morgan is going to come straight for you and Relly. If either of you dies, that'll pretty much put paid to Ansel's prophecy. If that happens, the Round Table Army's morale will crumble and me and my army will be the only ones to survive. Oh yeah, and we found out Ansel is actually Gareth. We found that out last stream. I forgot about that. Damn. For real? Yeah. Yeah, there was a guy dressed as Superman there. It was cool. I liked the cut of his jib. I appreciated his enthusiasm. There was actually a lot of people there dressed up in Superman shirts. I walked up in my Superman shirt thinking I was kind of lame. I didn't think there would be a lot of people who were actually wearing Superman shirts, but there were. There were a lot of them actually, so I was happy about that.
Yes, that's a good point. Should we have Altria and Relly stay behind then?
Not an option! We'll never break through the main gate without the Fairy of Paradise's protection, especially with Bargus and Lancelot standing in our way. Altria, Mash, and Relly are the only ones who can hold their own against those two. You three will need to be in the vanguard the whole time. First the gate, then the city, then the castle. Got it? Soon I'll be back in that throne room again. Why didn't I cosplay for the film? I'm not a cosplayer. This is not what I do. I don't know. I don't got like I mean, I've kind of got the physique for Superman, like at least like a little bit, but I mean, like, I don't know. It's I'm just not a cosplayer. That just ain't what I do. What is it, Knock Now Riyab? What's with the sigh? If you've got something to say, now's the time to say it. You won't get another chance before tomorrow night. If you don't say something memorable now, you'll just end up as that weird chocolate queen. Who asked you? Besides, you know what I pledged, right? So never mind that now. As soon as Morgan's defeated and that throne is mine, I'll be ready to settle things in our rematch. Well, what do you know? I thought you'd be in a foul mood once the Round Table Army joined us, but you're more fired up than ever. Guess having your rival and your lover here was just the motivator you needed. Pretty much. Neither of them belong to me just yet, but you can definitely never have too many rewards. Which is why we need to cover every possible angle in this strategy meeting. Altria, the child of prophecy. Percival, commander of the Round Table Army. Grimer, magecraft advisor to the Northern Army. Da Vinci, sage of the outside world. You four stay here with me. Muramasa, Relly, you're dismissed. There's a tent set up for you at our campsite. Go rest up for tomorrow. You want me here too? Well, okay. I guess I can offer my opinion as a representative of Chaldea and proper human history. Don't worry about me, Relly. Take advantage of this chance to rest. I'll go over what we cover here with you later. Give MASH my best. Are you gonna be okay on your own, Altria? I'll be fine. Knock Now Rhea may be running the show, but I'll keep her in line if she starts getting carried away. Besides, with Percival here, I'm sure we can figure out a strategy that both our forces can agree to. Welcome back, Master. How did the strategy meeting with the Round Table Army and Northern Army go? Well, long story short.
I see. So Knock Now Riyab said this will be a battle between two opposing nations. And since the general plan of attack for the castle is decided, now they just need to hammer out the particulars?
The final battle begins tomorrow morning. Aw, shit!
Our goals are to obtain Rongnamiad and to stop the British Lost Belt's collapse from engulfing the world. I know we need to defeat Queen Morgan to achieve both of those goals, but...
Do you think you can fight her?
If we could settle this peacefully, I'd do that in a heartbeat. But Queen Morgan has been ruling Britain the way she believes is right for 2,000 years. Words won't change her mind, especially since that's not how she wants to be persuaded. She'll only change her mind once she's been defeated by a power greater than her own. She said if you want to make your dreams come true, you need to prove you're strong enough to do so. That's Ash the Savior as I knew her. She was always severe like that.
Knowing Ash is actually making her more willing to fight in this case.
What about you, Senpai? I know this battle will determine the future of Britain, but I also know it's been 44 days since we left the storm border, and we're approaching our deadline. We don't necessarily have to take part in this battle to complete our mission. We could always sneak into Camelot while the Round Table Army and the Queen's Army are fighting each other, and acquire Rongnamiad that way. If Holmes were here, he'd probably suggest we do just that.
No, I'm gonna get in there. I'm gonna tussle. We gonna scrap. I already promised Altria I'd help her.
Right. Running away was never an option. We have a responsibility as humans from proper human history who have already overthrown many lost belts. And we have Hope as the Child of Prophecy's companions who have been with her on her journey. If we're going to fight Queen Morgan for the future of this beautiful land, those are the two things we need to hold on to.
Yeah, that's right. That's the spirit. All right. Come on, Blue Stacks, you can do it. Okay. What we got here? Give it. And then...
海の日というと慣れた頃の
Yay. Still no battles, though. Alright. Oh, now we gotta have our around the campfire talk. Oh, hey there, Relly. Out for a walk. We wrapped up the strategy meeting a little while ago. All that's left now is to wait for tomorrow morning. You and Mash are the key to our assault team, so make sure you memorize the layout of the castle before you turn in.
Here, Knock re-up drew a map of the castle town. Remember how tall its buildings were when we went for that audience? That's why you've got to watch your steps so you don't get lost. Especially since I won't be there to help you out this time.
You're not gonna fight with us, Happy Cat?
I'll stick with you guys until you get back to, the storm border, was it? But I'm not going to fight Morgan. I'm going to see how things play out here. That said, if you're going to fight her, I'd like you to take her on and give her as much of a beat. Give her such a beating, she'll have no choice but to admit she's outclassed. She's a really sore loser, so she'll never admit defeat otherwise. How about you, Grimer? You gonna join them in the war?
Well, yeah. Honestly, I don't care which side wins, but I am gonna keep Altria alive. My goal is to ensure the Fairy of Paradise fulfills her duty. As long as Altria stays alive, she can always try again, even if she doesn't defeat Morgan tomorrow. Prophecy said she'll be the true king, remember? She will win. Our girl's got this.
Oh yeah, Ansel's prophecy did say something about that, didn't it? Chosen by the staff of selection, a savior guarded by travelers from afar shall reach the throne. The true king shall arrive at the throne, accept now this bloodied crown. Ring ring, like raging thunder, like weeping flame. Let us hearken to the 6 bells ringing. So far, everything's played out just as it said. Altria rang the 6 bells, has a foreign mage watching out for her. And tomorrow she'll be within arm's reach of the throne. As far as I can tell, her and Morgan's spirit origins are evenly matched, and their support teams are too. So it will all come down to tomorrow. That said, I don't like the image of a bloodied crown. It's gotta be talking about Morgan's blood staining the crown after her defeat, right? Damn it, Ansel. Couldn't you have chosen better imagery for the Child of Prophecy's victory? I mean, it probably also means that Morgan's been squeezing Britain hard for a long time now, but still.
Alright, really, would you give Percival a message for me? I'm happy to inscribe runes on the Round Table Army's shields too, but I've got my limits just like anyone else. So tell him to gather up his 100 best soldiers and have them see me. You'll find him in the officer's tent. Play nice with Havatron. No problem. We've known each other since the first Grimer after all. Don't worry, I'll make sure she doesn't push herself too hard again. That's a boy. There you go. Oh, our boy's not having a good time. There's one thing in this world that no one can do anything about. Love. Bards have long sung of love. They called it fate, joy, and even death. In their songs, those without love are, in a sense, blessed, and those with it are, in a sense, discontent. When I was a young child, I didn't know what they meant. I'm assuming this is Percival.
When I was a young child, I didn't know what they meant. I believed love was simple, that merely loving and being loved was enough to be happy. When I was bought from the ranch, I was taken to a dazzlingly beautiful city. I grew up in one of their educational facilities with the other children who'd been purchased like I was. I wanted for nothing. They said a fairy built the whole place on a whim. What if we tried raising them ourselves, had been the question they asked. The result was a rearing house not meant to raise Tomlin, but human knights. It was run by the head of the Fang clan, though they said he didn't choose to do it. He only came to see us a few times, but whenever he did, he told the children the same thing. I bought all the children born that year. There are no other candidates to be found. If none of you show any promise by the time you grow up, this venture will be considered a failure. I know life isn't easy here, but do the best you can. He wasn't the most delicate of men, but he wasn't cruel or heartless either. Why did I go into the restaurant business? Well, I suppose I can tell you. We Fang Clan fairies are wild by nature. Once we go into a frenzy, nothing could stop us. That's why we once committed a grave sin. We wiped out an entire clan for the smallest of reasons. The smallest of raisins. So the Fang Clan needs to learn etiquette, good taste, and moderation. We're better off as vegetarians than carnivores. That won't make up for our past sins, of course, but I want to at least try to ensure we don't repeat them. I couldn't respect him, but I didn't hate him either. If nothing else, at least he had a conscience.
Was that what's his fuck? Woodwoes?
Our days of training continued. Over time, more of the children failed to make the cut and were given to other fairies as slaves. The only reason I lasted is because I was lucky enough to be born with a strong constitution and...
That's it. See how your left arm got hot just now? That's your magical circuit. It's one of your gifts, Percival. Even humans can generate magical energy. From there, it all depends on how you use it. Go on, try and copy me.
Because I had the strongest, gentlest knight of the lake in all of Britain with me.
It's okay. There's no need to be hasty. I'm here for you, Percival. Woodwoes won't come here anymore. That venture has been shut down. So you have all the time in the world to grow up. Please don't be reckless. Please don't get hurt. Please don't do anything fun without me either.
Damn. No fun allowed here.
You're my first student, my first child, my first brother, my first friend. Ah, my dear Percival, may you grow up healthy and strong.
That was the love I knew back then. Just being loved was all I needed. And being able to meet her expectations was the greatest happiness I had known. But as I grew older, every year I saw a little more of the world.
Lana! What is this? Lana! 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 What?
Danger zone!
Oh, man. Look at you guys in there. Quoting Archer? You know what? Okay. Based on my analytics, I'm assuming all y'all are under the age of 25, so you know what? Based. I commend all of you. Listen, Melusine, it's terrible, just terrible. After all the work we put into the manor, those bones people keep messing with it. I understand their confidence since their own manor is doing so well. But lately they've been baselessly slandering ours almost non-stop, and they're even harassing the humans who work there. I'm afraid. You know how rough they can be, right? If they did anything to the humans. Just thinking about it turns my knees to jelly. Tell me, are my wings still glistening?
Of course, it's okay. Don't worry, I'll take care of everything.
The love she knew, the love she'd been given, wasn't love at all. It was merely affection. Love was destiny, joy, death. A curse was powerless against it. I knew. Even then, I knew that it was all wrong.
Sorry.
But love distorts all our good sense. It makes fools of the wise, and good people do evil things. It causes beauty to lose its true form, even though she knew she was only being used. She still clung to that love, even as it stole the happiness she would have known, and the future she should have enjoyed.
Oh no, poor Melusine.
That day, I heard a cry of grief that tore at my very soul.
That's a nice scene right there. It's very intense, very good.
It was the night I broke the rules and rushed back to the cathedral to tell her I'd been awarded the Spear of Selection. That was when I saw her lost in despair at her own foolishness. I couldn't help her, or even say anything to her. I was still only 10 years old at the time. That's why I wanted to grow up as quickly as I could. I was sure that once I grew up, I'd know how to free her from that horrible curse.
That's right. I'm going to save her. I swear it.
I don't deserve any praise for becoming the commander of the Round Table Army. I only want to defeat the Queen to set her free. I never had any intention of fighting for all of Britain. I only wanted one thing, no matter how selfish the love that drives that want may be. I know, Gareth. I'm not a child anymore. I will see that your lance finds her. It's the least I can do to make your wish to protect Britain come true.
Damn. Damn, boy. Are you here, Percival?
Oh, hello, Relly. Something I can do for you. You have a message from Grimer. I see. 100 of my best soldiers, huh? I'll go round them up right away. Thanks for telling me.
Are you alright?
That obvious, huh? It's true. I got scolded for spacing out in the strategy meeting, too. But it's okay. I know what I need to do now, and I've made my peace with it. I'm Percival of the Round Table Army now. I have things worth fighting for and wishes of my own.
I keep wanting to say the Round Army. The Round Army. The Gordo Army. The Chungus Army. The Chonk Army. The Wide Army.
Now, I'm only going to fight for what's right. Please let Altria know that too. I think she probably saw right through me at the meeting earlier.
So Percival really is.
Tomorrow we face Queen Morgan. I know we're going to have to fight Lancelot as well. So I ask that you let me handle her myself, as the commander of the Round Table Army. I may not be able to defeat her, but I swear to at least keep her busy until the battle is over.
You sure you want to do that, buddy?
I am. Altria and Knocknaria are the main actors in this battle, and the prophecy didn't say anything about me anyway. This just goes to show that I didn't know what love was when I was a child.
Okay. Still, I'm assuming there are going to be no battles throughout this entire section. So, let's keep going.
Danger zone!
Just you two here?
Altria was here just a moment ago. She said she was gonna take a walk outside the camp to get some night air.
Sure, it's a little reckless of her to go out on her own right before a big battle, but she's strong enough now that she'll be fine, even if one of the Tomlin were to attack her. The real problem is that whatever made her want to go outside, maybe she's tired from being around all these people.
Well, you know she always had a tough time with crowds. Well, with fairies, really. Not that she's much better with humans either.
Maybe it's because she can tell when someone is lying. I'm not so sure.
Is that how Altria comes across to you, Muramasa? I guess she can be a little awkward, but I think that's just because she tends to be a people pleaser. I'll take that over arrogance any day of the week. Especially since, you know, just between us, Altria's kind of scary strong now. Like Lost Belt King level strong. If she ever went nuts and turned evil, we wouldn't stand a chance against her.
Some more Superman rhetoric going on here.
Just so you know, Muramasa, if things ever come to that, we won't think twice about sacrificing you so the rest of us can escape.
If that happens, you and me'll both be taking a trip across the Sanzu River, and I'm sure not gonna help you out of there.
That's cold. That's cold, Muramasa.
Gotta say though, you never know what life or materialization has in store. I was planning to head back to the foreign god as soon as I'd worked off what my life's worth. But this job turned out to be a whole lot longer than I expected. One thing led to another, and the next thing I knew, we were only half a day away from attacking Camelot. And I'm gonna be doing it together with the Master of Chaldea too. Who'da thunk?
You know, now that you mention it, it really is a hell of a situation we find ourselves in. I can only imagine the headaches Director Gordolf must be getting when he reads my reports.
I don't suppose you'd be willing to join us officially, would you, my boy? We could use your abs on our team. Your abs.
You know, it's not a bad idea.
Wait, could you actually do that?
Sure I could. All the foreign god did was summon servants and give them jobs. Said we'd have no reason to defy her since we'd been handpicked by the strongest being in the world, so she knew we'd never betray her. She still doesn't get the idea that some people are better fits for certain jobs than others, or that they might have actual preferences of their own. She just takes a pro and con approach to everything. Well, I guess that aspect might be different now. But I think I'll let another version of me handle that discussion. This time, it just wasn't in the cards.
Damn, ma'am.
I know. Make sure you hang on to that feeling, though. I could tell there's no lie or zealousness to what you said. The only reason Altria's made it this far is because of how honest you are with her.
Oh, boy. That was a real genuine smile from Muramasa, goddamn.
Ew, I'm exhausted. I can't believe Nakna Riab actually wrote up orders for each and every soldier. Squad leaders are supposed to handle that kind of thing. I guess all that mental labor tends to fall on the few who can handle it, since most northern fairies don't think about complicated things.
Old.
Still, thanks to that, they're all honest and trustworthy, and they're all very loyal to Nakna Riab. Now that the Round Table army is regrouped too, the battle tomorrow should
play out just like the prophecy said. Morgan will be defeated without a single casualty. The pilgrimage went great. None of your traveling companions dropped out along the way. And the rebel army is in great shape. There's not a single soldier keeping secrets, just like in the Queen's army. All signs are pointing to a happily ever after. Right, Altria? I see. You're still hung up on Gareth. But remember, the prophecy predicted all of that. The round fortress shall burn and the bell of water shall appear. What happened to her wasn't your fault, and she didn't desert you either. That was her fate.
Is that really what you think?
Of course it is. Besides, Gareth wouldn't want us to be sad about her being gone.
I don't mean about her. I mean what you said about there not being a single casualty. The truth is, you think our chances of winning are slim, and that the Round Table army is going to be slaughtered and the humans will be the first to die. And yet, you're trying to comfort me by telling me there won't be any casualties. Then there's what you said about no one hiding anything, just like the Queen's army. Be honest, Oberon. You've actually known Knock-Knock Rehab for a long time now, right? But you pretended you'd never met her before when she captured us all after our audience with Morgan.
It's true, I have. But if you'd known Knock-Knock Rehab and I were friends, you never would have trusted me, would you?
That's not all of it. When we saw MASH for the first time back in Norwich...
Well, what happened? Oh yeah, he pulled a funny, didn't he? That's MASH! That's MASH!
You already knew who MASH was, but you pretended not to. You also knew she was in Sheffield, but you didn't tell us. You kept it from Relly, so he wouldn't go looking for her. There.
I did. I wanted Relly to work with the Child of Prophecy of his own volition. Not because Caldia ordered him to. I admit it was dishonest of me. As powerful a Tomlin as MASH was, it was still dangerous for her to be up north by herself.
And then there's...
Yes? You could say one of the reasons I'm so overly invested in Britain's welfare is their kindness. Who says they're worthless or incapable of doing anything? They might be powerless, but they were the only ones who cared for me. So of course I have to do everything I can to pay them back. That's why I care so much about taking Morgan down.
And then there's the fact that you were gone on the morning of our battle with Woodwose's army. We only won because the Queen's reinforcements never showed up. And that only happened because you did something to stop them. You always seem so honest and sincere, but you never tell the truth. You never tell anyone what you're really thinking. Why is that? Why do you keep lying to us? Do you actually want to defeat Morgan?
Of course I do. There's not a fairy in Britain who's worked harder to bring her down than I have. I want to destroy her fairy Britain with every fiber of my being. If that means I have to lie, then I'll lie. Besides, I'm not the only liar here, Altria. Oh? You haven't been truthful about why you've come this far. Your true motive has nothing to do with saving Britain. And I'm not the only one who's figured that out. Relly is catching on too. You haven't been fighting for humans or even other fairies, not for 1 second. Your true motivation lies elsewhere. You just refuse to talk about it.
What are you saying? That's ridiculous. I'm the Fairy of Paradise. I was sent here to save Britain.
That's your guilt talking, not you. And what exactly does it mean to save Britain, do you think? Do you know what Muramasa once said? He said that every fairy is seeking absolution, that every last one of them yearns for death. He said that, deep down, that's what every fairy is in every town we've been to secretly wants. Oh my god, husbando those here? Who, Oberon? Is Oberon husbando to you guys? Interesting.
Muramasa said that?
He doesn't have a fey eye. He doesn't have fey eyes like we do. But he must be pretty sensitive to the pain people carry in their hearts. That's why you're still conflicted about this, isn't it, Altria? You don't talk about things like that because you know it wouldn't change anything. It's the same with me. I'll do whatever it takes to defeat Morgan, whether I like it or not. So why don't we leave it at that for now? Tomorrow's our last battle. I'm sure there'll be a time when you can come clean about what you're really thinking. That's what this whole pilgrimage was for, right? And hey, who knows? Once you come clean, you might just find that nobody thinks it's a big deal anyway. Peter Griffin. Oh my god. Who the hell cares? Well, I'd say I do. I say weebs care. Alright. 2 more? Okay, come on. Let's see if we could at least finish out this whole section tonight. Oh, there's my girl. Alright.
It seems Nakna-Riab's army and the Round Table army have rendezvoused. I still can't quite believe Her Majesty didn't even try to stop them. It's one thing to give your enemy a fighting chance, but this is far too generous. Between the Child of Prophecy's protection and the King Clan's Fey domain, our forces should be evenly matched. I'm sure Her Majesty means to crush them, but there's still a chance they could get lucky.
You don't have any chibi gifs? Chibi gifs? Well, you can't use gifs on YouTube in YouTube chat anyway, so that's a girl? Yeah, look at her. She's super pretty. Especially when she smiles. She's got a really handsome smile.
If our forces are evenly matched, then there's no chance of them winning as long as you and I are here. The two of us alone could end this right now, whether the High Queen is here or not. I could destroy Nakna-Riab's army on my own, and you could do the same for the Round Table army. We're already being nice by giving them till morning. There's no sense meeting them on their terms. The only ones we need to be wary of are the foreign mage, Galahad, the 2 servants, and Percival. But I can handle all of them on my own too. They're all fairly good fighters, but none of them can match me in the air. The only fairies who could fight me on even terms are High Queen Morgan, or you in larger form. If I were in their shoes, I'd want to at least twice the forces they have now before challenging Camelot. But unfortunately for them, the soldiers from Salisbury coming to join them have only just crossed the Western Plains. The Fang clan might have helped tip the scales if they'd gone over to their side, but they're nowhere to be seen lately. They don't have a chance. The rebel army dies here. Ansel's prophecy will never come to pass. Assuming they don't secretly have a unit equivalent to one of us Tomlin on their side. Indeed. As long as they lack a Tomlin of their own, they won't stand a chance. Her Majesty ordered me to only kill soldiers that make their way into the castle town. So I'm going to patrol the air and take care of any soldiers that try to get past the ramparts. The knights Her Majesty has stationed in town will never get a chance to fight. And of course, they'll never get through the main gate, not with you guarding it. Part of me feels a little bad for crushing them so thoroughly, but there's no escaping reality. Fairy Britain's last war will end with a whimper. There won't be so much as a single surprise. The last war, True. I doubt there will ever be another rebellion of this size. But the calamities will not end here, and Her Majesty has no intention of stopping the Great Calamity. Our victory here won't do anything to stop most of Britain's fairies from dying. Do you not think that's sad? Does it not make you question the point of winning this battle? I'm surprised to hear that from you, Bargast. I didn't think you thought about those kinds of things. Woodwoe said that fighting in the Fang clan's instinctual drive and pitting themselves against powerful foes their greatest pleasure. There is truth to that. I won't deny that there is a part of me that's a little different from a blood-starved beast, too. The one thing Balbon Sith and I have in common is that I, too, cannot help myself from dominating the weak. But that is my own personal issue. Not one that affects all of Britain. I see. You did become a Tomlin to protect Britain, didn't you?
One more rebellion. That sounds like a sick album title. I will admit that. One more rebellion. One last kiss.
I'm afraid I don't share your aspirations, though. The name Her Majesty gifted me is a hindrance, not a help. I'm an airborne fighter, not a knight. Human swordplay only slows me down. I accepted this name, in spite of that, to remain as Lancelot. I think it was about 100 years ago when my body began showing signs of anomalies. My love for her maintained my form up until then, but even that couldn't last forever. Her Majesty saved me from that fate. Without this Tomlin name, I would have reverted back to my old self. I don't serve Her Majesty for Britain's sake. I serve her to preserve this form. That's why I don't quite understand what you're talking about. No, that's not true. I do understand. I've just chosen not to think about it.
Oh, that could be code for the way so many people operate nowadays.
Because I have something else I care about more.
Something you care about more than Britain, huh?
I do too, as a matter of fact.
I at least want Adonis to live out his natural life.
I doubt you have anything like that yourself, though. That's why I envy you. High Queen Morgan has no love in her, but she does trust you implicitly. She'll always send for you, no matter how many times you fail her. No wonder Woodwose was jealous of you.
No love. Her Majesty. No, I suppose you're right. She has always and only ever loved this land. I owe Her Majesty a debt as well. I wouldn't be here today without my gifted name. Her grace made me who I am, even if she only offered it to control me. A debt is still a debt. However, I cannot repay that debt any further. I have to protect Britain's future and his.
That's right. That's right. Our girly. She's gonna betray everything she's known. Oh God, what is our girl up to here?
It's nighttime now. Could somebody turn on the light? I have to get to the ball. I have to put on my beautiful dress. Hello? Is anybody there? Forgive me. Forgive me, Mother. It wasn't my fault. I didn't want to do it. But my lord said he wanted to see what moving corpses were like. So I sucked the blood from one. Just one. But my lord was so taken with them that he had me make lots more in the basement. Of course they were going to overrun everything. Of course they were going to. Help. Help. Somebody please help them. I'm hopeless on my own. I've never been any good on my own. I never had anything of my own. That's why nobody ever helped me. I have no power, no special skills, no friends. If Mother abandons me too, then I won't have anything at all.
Oh man, she crashing out hard. There she goes again. Looks like Tomlin Tristan's not long for this world, finally. She lost her Tomlin name when the Child of Prophecy defeated her, then Beryl Gut disappeared, and now she's finally exhausted Her Majesty's patience too. We're to seal her door up with wax tomorrow. Probably too much trouble to even execute her. Now she'll fade away with no one ever knowing what became of her. What's wrong with that? Sounds like a fitting end for the most hated figure in all of Britain. Remember how many fairies she's killed? Hell, I'd off her myself if I could get away with it. Don't bother, she's rotted so much she can barely move now. Anyway, she'll die soon enough on her own. Hell, you might even get cursed if you got too close to her. If ever someone weren't worth killing, it's her. Huh, you said it. At least once she's gone, Her Majesty ought to go back to being... Who goes there? The High Queen gave strict orders not to let anyone... Oh, if it isn't Lord. Ah. Guh. Just like me, for real, for real. No more crashing out. That's what I'm being told. Spriggan?
I wasn't told there would be guards here. I hate to do that to them when they couldn't be getting paid much, but from the looks of it, I'm sure the next generations will show up soon enough.
I got the key from them. Shall I open the door?
Of course. Apparently she's bedridden now, so do be gentle with her.
Wait, I can't remember who Spriggan is. But don't be afraid to get rough if she acts up. We don't have any time to waste. Yes, sir. Come on, let's go.
Not worth killing, That's just the sort of thing I'd expect such a vulgar lot to say. Really, most things aren't worth anything. The question is whether they're worth keeping or best thrown away. Prices are something we set for ourselves. Even the worst piece of junk can still have its uses.
Oh boy, what's going on there? Who is this? Also, that, I will admit, that's a pretty spooky image. Like, if I saw that coming, just standing at the end of a long underground corridor, yeah, I'd probably just be shitting all over myself at that point.
I have to make certain. I have to ask her. Majesty. Majesty. High Queen Morgan. It can't be. That can't be right.
Is this Woodwose?
Oh, how wonderful. How good to see you're still alive and resolute as ever. I couldn't believe my ears when Spriggan asked me to take you in. But tee, it looks like you really did survive. Coral, do treat his wounds, won't you? Use the best magical powder we have.
It is Woodwose.
Thank you, Aurora. You really are a beautiful fairy. I'm sorry I doubted you, even for a moment.
It's no use. His chest wound refuses to close. Not even the magical powder can help him now. Besides, the Round Table Army won. Wouldn't it be, well, dangerous to harbor Lord Woodwose now? We mustn't give up. We'll gather all the medicine in town if we have to. It doesn't matter which army won that battle. Now that the battle is over, we can't let him die. He's the proud head of the Fang clan, after all. He's kept Britain safe for hundreds of years. He doesn't deserve to die so miserably.
Aurora. Aurora. How could I have been so foolish? If I'd only heard your voice to begin with.
Now, don't try to talk, Woodwose. You need to conserve your strength. I can hardly believe it. I wanted to dismiss what all the fairies have been saying about Her Majesty cutting the Fang clan loose as mere rumor, but...
Rumor? What rumor? What did the High Queen do to us, Aurora?
Oh, poor Woodwose. Then you really didn't know, did you? The Queen never did send you any reinforcements. She hates the Fang clan for how many humans they consume and meant for both sides to fall in that battle. Her Majesty only trusts the Tomlin now. That's why she didn't even send anyone to look for your body. It pains me to say this, but she abandoned you and your Fang clan, Woodwose. She thinks you're nothing more than old guard dogs who have outlived their usefulness.
I see what she's doing. I see what our girl's cooking here.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I won't believe it. Majesty, Your Majesty, that can't be true. It can't. The Fang Clan's loyalty, our devotion, it must have meant something to you, right? I have to find out. I have to. Even if I have to kill her to do it.
We're probably gonna see our boy a bit later on. Oh, shit. Okay, last one. Last node in this section. Let's go, let's go. Oh, what are you doing outside the camp? Are you so amped up you can't fall asleep? I could ask you the same, Oberon. What you doing out here? Altria seemed like she still had some doubts, so I thought I should check in on her. Our armies might be evenly matched, but they've still got the Tomlin on their side. If we give them so much as a centimeter, we're done for. So I gave her a little pep talk. I said, hey, Altria, know that King Arthur really means? It means King of Bears. And boy, was she surprised. I can see it all too well. You know how competitive she is, right? Lighting a fire under her works better than trying to get her to see reason. In just a few hours, the veil of night will be lifted. The final battle will begin when the morning lark sings. At this point, I've done everything I possibly can. Though I can't say I don't have any regrets. I've been flying around this way and that looking for something, but I can't look anymore. I'm out of time. Even though you said it doesn't exist here? You think just because something doesn't exist means people don't look for it? You've got it all wrong, really. We search because they don't exist. We can't help but seek what can never be. That's what my queen, Titania, is to me. She's no different than the stars twinkling in the sky. Because no matter how hard we try, those of us here on Earth will never have one for ourselves. But we can talk about me some other time. Truth be told, I'm not used to being open about my feelings. For now, you should head back to the tent and rest up. If you're having trouble sleeping, I can always sprinkle you with a bit of sleeping powder. I may not be much good at fighting, but when it comes to putting people to sleep, not even Merlin the Incubus could beat me. This might just be my imagination, but, What's up? Seems like you're always angry. Yes, I suppose I kind of am. Truth to tell, I've been a little upset ever since I heard you have all been going around erasing lost belts. Not at you, you understand, more at those who will learn the stories later. I know it can't be helped, of course. Every event ends up just as a story to the people who weren't involved in it. Decades after your adventure is over, it'll be written up in some report. Those who read it won't think of it as anything more than a lesson to be learned. That's what I can't stand. Damn. That's some shit right there. I'm gonna actually need you to get out of the way for a second, Altera. That right there. Those who read it won't think of it as anything more than a lesson to be learned. Because that's all history really is. To everybody, young people, old people, if they weren't involved in it, they're all just stories. Like, you know, for like kids who learn about the Vietnam War when they're in school, to them it's just a war movie. It's just a story. It's a made up fiction. Like, even if they know that it happened and they know that real people were involved in it, it's a second hand, it's not even a second hand account. It's not even a third hand account. It's not even a 10th hand account. It's like a, 3 billionth hand account. Because they get told about this stuff. Their ancestors get told about things, and then their ancestors pass it on to their descendants. Those descendants pass it on to the next one, and the next one, the next one, the next one, until, you know, the notion that you know, the Greece or the Rome that we see in the movies ever actually existed, like, doesn't even compute to people. People learn about lessons about ancient Rome, and they even if they go to Rome, even if they see the buildings for themselves, they see the Colosseum, they see, you know, the cathedrals, they see all these things. They're still just, they're props, they're stories, they're you know, Hollywood fiction. They watch Gladiator and then they learn about ancient Rome in history class, and they're like, these are literally the same thing. These are one-to-one, just the same things on either side of the colon. And that's why people don't care about history. Because again, they're just like, this is a bunch of boring, stupid stuff that happened a long time ago that, like, basically, in my mind, aren't even real things. They're just stories. And then what ends up happening? We just end up repeating the same mistakes that we committed before, because instead of learning the lessons from history, we're just like, oh, that's all fiction. I don't have to worry about it, because nothing like that would happen in reality. Stuff like that only happens in stories. Man. Fucking people, bro.
Half of Oberon the Fairy King was born from a story, after all. That's why my feelings are split right down the middle. As a heroic spirit of proper human history, part of me wants to see Britain restored to its rightful state. Being a fictional character myself, part of me wants to let its story continue. And that's hard to reconcile with the rest of me. I'm okay with existing lost belts to bring back excising lost belts to bring back proper human history. We wouldn't exist if not for the latter. But the idea of those lost belts being neglected and forgotten in the future still hits me hard. I don't want them to be thought of as things that deserve to disappear. I want people to understand that even if they were cut off before their time, their existence still had meaning. Then again, maybe I only feel that way because I'm directly involved in this one. People have always moved forward by recording the past. They can't hold on to the same values forever. That we even have phrases like old-fashioned or behind the times is proof we've moved on from what we once were. Do you hate Morgan Oberon? No. She may be our enemy, but I don't hate her. Hell, I've never even met the woman. And you know, the story of this land of the Fae she came up with isn't half bad. The entire era of the High Queen is basically a fairy tale Morgan wrote herself. It's a dream she wanted to see come true so much that she poured her heart and soul into making it a reality. Whether it's a good story or a bad one, I can't help but respect the effort that went into creating it. Which is exactly why I'm pouring my heart and soul into defeating her. As a fellow fairy tale being, I want her curtain call to be memorable. Of course, we don't have a chance against her if we don't give it all we have, so I suppose memorability isn't really a factor. Take care, Voltria, Relly. Like I said, my part is done. From here on, this is your battle to fight. All I want now, before I depart this world, is to see you guys win this battle spectacularly. And we will. Hear ye. Is that the end, or do we have one more scene with Altria? Nope, that's it. All right then. Well then. Look at that. That's it. We finished out that entire node. Even with me going on and yapping for 45 minutes about Superman. Good stuff. That's what you like to see. Alrighty. Well, that is absolutely fantastic because we are just at the 2-hour mark. So therefore, we're going to go ahead and call it there for the evening. Alright, y'all. I want to thank anyone that decided to stop in to check out the stream, even for just a minute or two. Always appreciate it. Tomorrow we're gonna be continuing on with Genshin with the Archon, the new Archon quest extension that's been released.
So if you want to know when that'll be happening, go ahead and follow my Blue Sky or subscribe, and you'll know when we go live. But yeah, one more reminder once again that I am going to be taking a break next week, so no streams all next week. So yeah, if you want to see me one more time before that, then stop by tomorrow. So with all that being said, I hope you guys have yourselves a good night, a good day, a good morning, wherever it might be for you. And with any luck, I will hopefully see y'all tomorrow. So until then, stay groovy, everybody.